Hello and welcome to my 73rd water review for YouTube. Today is Friday, June 28th, 2019, and this week I will be doing the first Russian water I've ever done on this channel. We've done Ukrainian water with Svalyava, we've done Serbian water with Knyaz Milosh, we've done a few Romanian waters now. We did Borjomi, and we've done also Perla Hargitai, which I did last week. And this week we are doing Russian water, Narzan water. Now, it's in Cyrillic, obviously, but that says Narzan. And Narzan water is a very famous Russian water and spa town as well. Narzan is in the area of Kislovodsk in the Stavropol region of Russia, in the south of Russia, near the border with Georgia. And Kislovodsk actually translates from Russian to sour water. So, oh boy, this might be a interesting water for tasting notes, but that's always more exciting for you guys. It can be kind of boring getting these neutral waters. So hopefully we get a unique tasting water with Narzan. But Narzan actually has a very interesting history, and the area of Kislovodsk is very famous. As I mentioned, it is a spa town, and this dates back to the 14th century with Arab traveler and writer Ibn Battuta, who in the 14th century mentioned the healing properties of the Narzan water and its springs. And then later in the 1700s, with the Russian Tsar Peter the Great, he actually sent some of his servants or water specialists to the area to discover if it actually does have healing properties and come back to him with their results. And the results were positive, and from that moment on, Narzan and Kislovodsk would be a huge destination for spa goers, and some very famous Russian writers came to this area. We had Mikhail Lermontov as well as Alexander Pushkin, and some other very famous Russians all visited Narzan springs to really experience the healing properties of the water. So hopefully we'll get some nice healing properties from this Narzan bottled water. But despite all this very interesting history, I actually didn't find out any of this information from Narzan's website, which was very disappointing. They mentioned that Narzan does have an interesting history, but that's as far as they went. They didn't talk about any of the interesting visitors to the springs or how the spring came to be. They just mentioned that their company came about in 1894, as it says at the bottom of this bottle here. And then that was really it. They talk about the different products that they have. They have a naturally carbonated water because of the volcanic rocks from the mountainous region that they're nearby. It actually is naturally carbonated, and the volcanic rocks give Narzan its interesting mineral content, so we'll have to see. But this one actually isn't naturally carbonated. They carbonate this one, which is the Narzan silver version, with carbonic acid. So I'll have to see if I can get a hold of the Narzan gold to see if it comes with a different taste, because it is naturally carbonated. But really, besides product information, there wasn't a whole lot of company information, not a whole lot of actually any CSR initiatives, and really nothing a lot about the source either. So it was kind of disappointing to see that. However, there still is a very interesting history behind the Narzan water, so I'd recommend researching that a bit, and I'll put a few links in the description for you guys to read about. Now we will move on to bottle design and materials, and Narzan's bottle is very beautiful and unique. It has this awesome, beautifully designed, classy look to it with this green glass, this deep green, thick glass, which won't break, hopefully. I guess if you drop it, it might. They went with this cool, wavy turbine look to the glass, which gives it an interesting feel to it, as well as an interesting and unique look. And it all comes up to this beautiful dark green to match the glass cap, with a silver bottom to it to indicate that this is the Narzan silver version, which is carbonated with carbonic acid. On the top, you have the Narzan logo, which is very nice to see. And then down here, you have this really excellent high quality label as well. It's made out of a clear plastic and is completely glued all the way around, which helps protect it from ripping in transit and whatnot. However, this one unfortunately did have a little tear up here where there is kind of an interesting, I don't understand if this is like a jaguar or something. There's this strange cat on the logo. Overall, the logo is very regal and classy as well, a very premium, interesting logo here. It has this cool crest in silver to indicate it is the silver version again, and then they have the Narzan logo in the middle here. They have a beautiful picture of the landscape with this mountain in the background, and then I believe I looked it up, and this is the tallest mountain in Europe, I believe, in this area, which is cool. And then on the back, they have this complete mess of writing, just a ton of writing. It's all in Russian, so I can't read it. But I did notice down at the bottom, they do have a little mineral breakdown. And oh man, are there a lot of minerals in this water. Now we'll move on to taste. And as I mentioned, there are a lot of minerals in this mineral water. We have 200 to 500 ppm of sulfate, 50 to 200 ppm of chloride, and then you have 50 to 200 ppm of sodium, potassium, calcium, magnesium, all of those. So there's probably over 1,000 ppm of minerals in this water. So we should get some really interesting taste, as well as that carbonic acid for carbonation. So let's get on to taste and nose. So one of the benefits to using a glass bottle with a metal cap is that the carbonation stays in a lot better over time compared to those thin plastic bottles. We had that issue with Perla Hargitay last week, as well as some of the other carbonated waters that were supposed to be carbonated but didn't end up being carbonated. But luckily this one has held up with its carbonation, it looks like. So on the nose, you get this sweetness on the nose, as well as a musty vegetation almost note. It must be from the sulfate and the calcium and magnesium giving that kind of musty smell to it. It almost smells like if you like a rainy day in like Europe somewhere on the streets, the cobblestone streets that they still have. It has that kind of musty stone smell to it. It's very interesting. I really do find this nose quite unique. But overall, yeah, just a little bit of that sulfate nose as well, slight mustiness and a slight sweetness as well. I'm not getting a whole lot of sourness on the nose, but maybe that sour water name of Kislovodsk will come off in the taste. Yeah, really, really unique taste as well for Narzan. It has this dominant flavor of sweetness right at the beginning with a nice pop of carbonation at the beginning as well. Those two kind of fade out towards the end, and then in the end you get that mustiness, kind of chalky mouthfeel, as well as a nice bitter vegetation note again, and then you get a nice little salty kick at the end as well. There's a lot of really interesting flavors from this water, and it really comes down to that mineral composition that they've included in the water that naturally comes from those volcanic rocks in the region. But overall, really unique, interesting taste with this one. It's not like any of those other neutral waters. If you're looking for a really interesting, unique taste, I would definitely recommend trying out this one. It's got all the flavors you'd really typically like to find in one of these carbonated mineral waters, which is very cool. So really nice taste and nose with Narzan. So now we'll move on to final score. For company history and interestingness, there is a ton of company history and interestingness. It's just not on their website. I really would have liked to see a nice timeline about their history on the actual Narzan website instead of having to read through articles and whatnot. So really, in terms of company history and interestingness, I am giving them 2 out of 2.5 points because it is interesting, but they really do need to put it on their website so that their customers can read about how interesting their company is. In terms of bottle design and materials, again, they do quite well. The materials are excellent. The cap itself is a little bit flimsy, a little bit easy to bend, but overall the materials are very high quality. The logo design is absolutely beautiful on the front. It's a little busy on the back. They really put a lot of writing on the back and it's hard to read. Well, and that also being it's in Russian, so that makes it difficult to read, but just how compact they've packed in all this writing. And then the fact that they've just written out the mineral table at the bottom, it would have been nice to see a more distinct mineral table on here. They did add one on the importer, which makes it a bit easier to figure out what they have. And they actually do have it on their website as well, which is great. But it would have been nice to see on the bottle itself, a little bit easier to read the mineral table. So in terms of bottle design and materials, they get 2 out of 2.5 points again. In terms of taste and nose, Narzan has a really interesting, unique, and really enjoyable taste, to be honest. It has that nice sweetness, a little bit of nice carbonation as well, and then it ends with all those kind of interesting vegetation, mustiness from that calcium and the minerals in the water, and then a nice saltiness to finish it off, but not too strong of really any of those. So in terms of taste and nose, they get 2.75 out of 4 points. Really unique water. I'd recommend trying it out. And if it's not a neutral water, so if you're going to be making your own flavored waters, I probably wouldn't use this one. I'd use one of the more neutral carbonated waters. But if you're looking to just get a nice carbonated water taste, I'd recommend trying out Narzan definitely in that case. In terms of value, this half-liter bottle cost $2.29 at a local Eastern European grocery store, which is not cheap at all. But with how unique and interesting and intriguing this water is, I would definitely recommend trying it out. It's probably not going to be your daily drink of choice, but maybe pick one up, see if you like it, and maybe you'll buy bottles for special occasions or whatnot. But because it is such a unique water, I'm only taking off half a point. They get half out of 1 point for value. Tallying it all up, they get 7.25 out of 10 points, which actually is the same score I gave to Perla Hargitay. However, if they're really different in terms of whether you want a more unique and interesting taste, or if you want a neutral taste like with Perla Hargitay, then you could go with that one. But I do recommend either one. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed my review of Narzan Silver Carbonic Acid Carbonated Mineral Water from Russia. Please like and subscribe, comment down below. I keep finding new waters to review. Every time I think I'm going to run out of waters to review, I keep finding more at local grocery stores. So don't worry, we will never run out of waters for at least the next year, it seems. But please like and subscribe, comment down below which waters you'd like me to review or which foods you'd like me to review on my Monday food reviews, and please share as well. Anyways, thank you all, and I will see you on Monday for my next food review. Thank you.